Hey there, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the 704 High School Highlight Podcast. My name is Jeff Taylor. I'm the sports director here at Bahakel Sports. Thanks for checking in on this week's podcast. And I'm joined by a very special guest, the head coach at West Charlotte, Sam Greiner. Coach, thanks for your time.
Thanks for having me.
You ready?
Oh,
you ready?
I'm ready. Super. Yeah, it's August, brother. We're rolling. It's go time.
I walked out the other day, and I don't know what school I was at, but I was like, the summer, the heat, morning football practice, nothing like it.
Nothing like it. And it's special. Like, we get to go in the morning, so we're just now getting the ability to, like, the heat is coming in. You feel it, but we're able to beat the heat a little bit. I feel sorry for some of the teams that are going in the afternoon, and I don't know how they're making it through.
I don't get it. That's one thing the heat. I can't handle it, but that's okay.
Yeah.
We're all right.
Welcome to North Carolina.
Yeah, welcome to the South, right? So talk to me a little bit just about your football journey. Maybe growing up, playing it as a kid, high school, just take me a little bit through your journey getting to the point of, being a head coach.
Yeah, I first started off with, like, the Mint Hill Eagles.
Yeah.
My mom was terrified for me to play. Fell in love with it. Really fell in love with the Northeast Middle School. I was named defensive MVP after my 8th grade year, and it was a great time. Coach Donaldson was my head coach at the time, and even though I was a smaller guy, it kind of like it put something inside of me, a spirit inside of me. It just like, man, I need this. And then I was blessed to go to Butler High School when it first opened up. So it's a brand new school, opened up in '97, and I'm coached by Barry Shuford. My personal coach was Mike Newsom, still today my mentor. Later, my senior year came in Steve Shaughnessy. Just fell in love with it. Never played it down to JV, and was needed. So I really dedicated myself to the weight room, the whole process. After that, I got an opportunity to go play at Western Carolina. Actually hated it. Didn't like going 1-10, and that wasn't just losing. It was the aspect that how we were losing. I felt like people were sleeping well at night, and I was like, I'd rather go play somewhere where it would be, we're competing at a high level.
Right.
So I went to Catawba College, changed my life, met a head coach that never cursed, didn't understand it, helped me with my faith. Lost my sister to cancer during this time, but really dedicated my life to Christ and got saved. And I realized that I can coach this game a certain way, and I wanted to be different. I want to demand greatness, demand it, but not have to curse kids out to get it.
Right.
Demand greatness because it lives inside you, and I think that's kind of like I got a little bit of Newsom, I got a little bit of my coach from college, got a little bit of Jim Tom Sula, who was the 49ers coach. He was my coach in college. It just, I can't live without it. If you can live without football, please do. Go do it. Some people just can't.
I can't.
Yeah, exactly.
And I'm actually married to a wonderful woman who loves football. So I've never told this story, and I'll just tell it real quick. Yeah, like last year, she came to bed at like 2 a.m.
Oh.
And I'm like, what have you been doing for the last 2 hours or whatever? She goes, and I don't even know what it was. It was on like ESPN2.
Yeah.
And it was like Northeast Iowa State was going against so-and-so. They went for 2. I don't know why they went for 2. And I'm just like, okay.
She's locked in
I love
that
you.
way. That is so crazy.
I was like.
My wife is like, she's real big in like fantasy football.
Right.
But we have to be good enough for my wife to make the stands. Like, I think she's been to 3 of my games in my entire career, being a head coach, 1 being a state championship. Brahim's senior year, my son from Harding, she's only made a few games. She says she's going to make a lot this year. We're good enough, she thinks, that she can go.
So you mentioned your coaching journey, and you mentioned the way you coach. I know that I played Pop Warner when I was very young, and I remember my first head coach, I won't say his name, but he used to grab me by the helmet, and he would curse at us.
Yeah.
And I'm like 9 years old.
Yeah.
I didn't play football again until high school.
Yeah.
I officiated for about 10 years after I got out of college. I went to a small school in Virginia, Randolph-Macon College, and played ball there.
Yeah, I've heard
I was a place kicker, so
Hey,
it is what it is.
hey,
Every job's important.
Make good money that way. Stay safer.
But you mentioned it. How important is it as coaches to lead by that example? Because, unfortunately, we don't see it all the time.
Yeah, and I'd say, there's some coaches out there that curse that love their kids still.
Right.
And you see a lot of that. There's a lot of those guys, and that's more the norm you see. I'm just someone that, without coaching football, I'm still a man of God. Like, that is my identity. Football is not who I am. It's something I really enjoy, I love.
Right.
But I am a Christian first, and I demand greatness. God, for me, not cursing doesn't make me soft.
Absolutely
it makes
not.
me
Right.
extremely
Sure.
tough. I demand greatness, and I feel like that persona of putting on a team, like, no, everything you do in life, that's why we say man the throne. Man the throne is you are made more than a conqueror. demand greatness in everything you do. If you're making dinner for your wife, if you're mowing the grass, if you're playing football, it's played a certain way. I demand that because that's the way you were created.
Right.
And there's a way of going about that. And I don't think cursing needs to be. Like, do I get upset? I'm like, that gummit, let's flip and go, da-da-da-da-da, those things. But I don't need to curse to, like, get that apart. And I demand greatness another way.
So at West Charlotte now, how long have you been there?
This would be my fourth season.
Fourth season.
Came in during the COVID year.
Got
we
it.
didn't play. So 2 seasons were combined in 1 year, kind of really tough. Came into a program. Josh Harris was the head coach before me, really good guy. He was my AD that hired me. I think it was a great opportunity to come. I knew that there was going to be a new school being built. I think that the time coming is now. What I saw a long time ago is what I was looking forward to is finally here. Right. Being able to have our first set of home games. We have not played at home since I've been in West Charlotte. That's a huge disadvantage, and now we get that advantage of playing in our home field. So I'm excited about that.
Obviously, North Carolina, born and bred.
Mm-hmm.
So how cool is it to have stayed in this area and taken this journey, and now being at a school like West Charlotte that has, the history. It's an older school, like you said, it's a new school now in terms of the building and stuff like that and the field and everything, but to be a part of that.
Oh, that's what makes it special. A lot of people say, when the job was open, you sure you're the right fit for that? And I said, yeah, sometimes you got to go not necessarily where you're needed or where you're wanted, but maybe where you're needed in a way. And the identity that I meshed with the kids at West Charlotte, that community, I appreciated a lot of the alumni came and reached out to me and showed me the history of West Charlotte was extremely important to me. Jack Martin visited his gravesite, heard the history about how he coached and how he turned it around. I mean, West Charlotte is one of the founding fathers of all the schools. And just to know the history, especially the black history involved with it coming in there, I think I needed to understand that and appreciate it. And I've never said this. Like, normally when you go somewhere, you look for the next step forward. I would have no problem retiring my coaching career at West Charlotte.
Right.
I really love it. The people are special. The kids are great. And I'm just excited to be a part of that.
Awesome. Let's talk a little bit about the conference you play in.
Yeah.
It's the QC3A 4A, correct?
The best conference in the state.
Best conference there is.
Yeah.
In terms of, how cool is that, though, to be kind of the 3A, 4A? I'd never seen that until I came to Charlotte and learned about this conference. Kind of cool to be able to do that. And, I mean, we're talking about school sizes and stuff, to go against some of the schools you get to go to and stuff.
Yeah, it's definitely, I mean, like you said, you've had the powerhouses, the Mallard Creeks, the Huffs that have been dominated, the Chambers that have won some championships. And you got big schools and founding fathers of North Mech, West Mech's over there. Now, Harding just came into our conference, so we got some inter-city rivalry going on there. We won back-to-back 3A championships in that conference, but we've told everybody we don't want to just be known as the 3A champions. Right. We want to win the conference outright, and I think that it's time for us to take that step. But to get to go against the best, we have to earn that keep. Nobody's thinking West Charlotte. I mean, no one's picking us in front of those three in front of you, and no one's picking us in front of Huff, Mallard Creek, and Chambers. But us as a staff and our team, we feel like we can be ahead of them this year.
I think you'll definitely make some noise, without question. Talk about your team this year then. You're a couple weeks into practice now. We're just a week away from the start of the season. How good can this team be, and what are you most excited about?
Just the continuity of, like, we are becoming a player-led team. I always identify, like, a coach can make a team good. He can instill some discipline, instill certain things and structure. But at the end of the day, I've seen special teams. That Harding team that won a state championship. I've been a part of the Butler teams before. Those teams are player-led. This team is becoming player-led as we speak. We're led on offense by a sophomore, K.D. Smith. Phenomenal player. Little League 5 games into the season last year. Says, Coach, I ain't no quarterback, but I can run this team. I mean, you literally feel like you're watching the program movie. Hey, put the women and children in bed. Let's go looking for dinner, boys. Like, saying that type of stuff in the huddle. He commands a huddle, and he's great at it. Defensively, we got a 4-year starter in Jaden Smith going to Michigan, led by many other guys. DeQuindra Williams. We got Dean Lyman that are across the board. Julian Carmichael. Our defense is just unbelievable. Getting to go against them in practice every day sharpens us on offense. So this year can be extremely, extremely special, especially the non-conference schedule we have. Palisades doesn't lose anybody. I mean, they're picked by many third in their conference.
Right.
Opening up their Memorial Stadium. West Charlotte, I haven't been a part of a game like that in a long time. West Charlotte hasn't been a part of a game like that magnitude in a long time. Get to start off there. Then we're going to Powerhouse Monroe. Then we got them boys at Independence. Then we're going through our juggernaut of a conference. So really excited about the season.
And you mentioned your opener, getting to play at Memorial Stadium in the Turf King Classic.
Yes.
How excited are you about that? And the message you've given to your team about being able to play in a stadium like that.
Yes. I mean, I think just getting the phone call from Turf Kings to say, hey, we want you to play in this game. I know Coach Simmons from Palisades is extremely excited. We were excited. Play a 3 o'clock game in the heat. I'm hoping I'm hoping that West Charlotte, across of all the alumni, come see what's been created the last 4 years and the product that we put on the field. You're going to be thrilled. I want to smell fish fries. I want to smell the grills going. I want it to be packed out, enjoy 3 games of football, back to old school. You're not watching it on TV. No. We're not Netflixing it that day. We're going to go enjoy some real live football, and we're a part of that.
Right.
Let's do it. Like let's spark the city up like it used to be.
And kudos to them. They've got some great matchup that day. So kudos to them and having it at Memorial Stadium.
Big sponsor, Army.
Yeah,
I'm a huge, with my son graduating from West Point.
Right.
I'm a big Army supporter. Actually coached in the All-American game when it used to be the Army All-American game. I've actually coached in that game. I think that when they put their hand on something and stamp it, it raises the whole level of the game. So being able to say, Army strong, everything that they bring to the table on top of the Turf Kings, you guys are a part of it. You're announcing the game. So it's going to be
showing
a
it live,
big deal.
Showing it live on BahakelSports.com. Streaming all of them so they can check it out that way. Get out there, though.
Get out there.
I mean, you
can watch the replay later.
Right.
Okay, we can watch
we'll
the
have
replay.
We'll have it on demand for all of that. In your 4 years that you've been at West Charlotte so far, is there one outstanding moment or one outstanding thing that you think, just sits at home with you?
Yeah, I think that the biggest thing that I love about West Charlotte kids, our kids don't leave. You got a lot about the identity, I get it. People have to move. They're there. And there's legit families that move and have to do things. We don't lose players at West Charlotte. I think they've bought into the program of what we're doing. It speaks volumes of the coaches that we have, the relationships they're building with those coaches. And these guys didn't go somewhere and be good right now. They've built this themselves, and now they're going to reap the benefits of it. They're going to see the fruit of their labor this year. That's the thing that I love the most.
That's awesome. In terms of the school itself, how's the support been from the administration, the students? Are they fired up that they get to play? They get to actually be at a stadium this year?
I think that, West Charlotte wants to play at home. And to be able to do that, that's special and outright. Last year, new principal, new athletic director, they really are sports ready, hungry. They want football to be very successful. They are huge supporters of what we're trying to do as a program. It's not like football is talking to the administration. We are all one unison together. And when you have that, you can be special as a program, as a school as a whole.
Right.
Because a lot of times the football program and sports in general control the identity of the school. Like that culture shifts into the school, and I think that we all see that. We see the common ground that we're trying to help each other both out. So we got a great support from the administration, AD. I'm excited to have them both a part of this team.
Put you on the spot a little bit because I've talked to a couple coaches about this on the podcast and a couple players. A couple of topics that are out there that I kind of have a problem with at points and then I don't. First of all, the NIL.
Yeah.
Obviously, they had thought about doing it for high school kids. Then it got kind of pulled here in North Carolina, but they do have it out there for high schoolers.
Yes.
Your thoughts on that? Because for me, I struggle with it.
Yeah.
But then there's sometimes I get it.
Yeah.
But is it a case by case? You know what I'm getting at?
Yeah. I have no problem with it in the aspect. We're talking about 2 to 3% of kids.
Right.
Who is really honestly putting a lot of money into high school kids right now? Not a lot.
Right.
So, but if there is an opportunity where a kid is that special and he has the opportunity to help himself out, what we can do is we can help kids now. We can start teaching them about finances.
Absolutely.
Let's look at the benefits of it. Teach them how to, like, when they go to college and say they go to an Oklahoma or something like that has a $50,000 across the board, if you make the roster, you're getting this throughout the course. You still got to pay taxes on that.
Right.
We're helping young men, young women become more successful down the road throughout the whole generation, just their whole life, not just right now.
Sure.
sometimes we get to be 25, we ain't figured out about taxes, and they
From
grab a hold of it.
55, that's still,
Yeah, we still
sometimes
might
we
not.
don't know.
Exactly. So, I mean, it definitely has its negatives. You don't want kids thinking about money. You want the hardcore working your way up.
Right.
But there is special benefits where, and we're not talking a lot of money, but like, say the kid getting some free food.
Right.
Wow, that's great. Say he's getting helped out just a little bit. Oh, he represents and he's getting some free car washes. Right. Okay, great. You know, I think that we're looking at it. Oh, this kid's not going to get 100,000. We're talking about less than 1% to 2% of kids.
Right.
Let's look at like it could be little small benefits, and we're not handcuffing them to get something small.
Absolutely agree. As a coach, and this is the one I really struggle with because I've seen kids not get the chance, but the transfer portal. You know, for me, I think it's taken away some opportunities from the kids in high school. And then you threw COVID on top of that, you know, kids taking gap years and stuff like that. But let me preface it why I don't like it. I do understand that if all of a sudden you were recruited by Nick Saban, and you put all your eggs in that basket and then he leaves,
I get it.
I get that. Other than that, for the kid who doesn't play all the time or he's not the superstar or something like that, that's where I have issues. Your thoughts on the transfer portal?
I've seen good and bad from it. I think that the transfer portal has become its own beast. Like, they have not monitored it well enough where literally if things get tough, we're not dealing with the adversity that helps human life. That's what I hate about it.
Yes, absolutely.
You know, a lot of times if you're second or third string, you're not good enough. Look at yourself in the mirror and find ways to get better and saying, I'm going to go plan B right now.
Right.
Like, that's hurting us as a culture.
Right.
Now, there is some circumstances that are beneficial. It could be grandma got really sick, you know.
Right.
And I really want to be there. I'm close to grandma. I get it, those things. Or, like
Coach
you said,
Deion Sanders comes in and goes, I'm bringing in my dogs.
Yes.
And all you guys are just, I mean.
It's a terrible I think there's got to be, we got to grow from it.
Right.
There's got to be some type of stimulations of how we can attack this better. We're not there yet, but hopefully through time we get there. Now, the bad thing is you see this from college, okay, and it trickles down where?
High school.
High school.
Right.
So, like, exactly. And that's where you start seeing this really, really bad. It's almost like it's getting to the point now in high school, you almost want it to be like anybody can go to any school you want to. 1 year, let's go. I mean, it's getting to that point where it's getting out of hand. It really is.
And, you know, for somebody like myself, when we talk about football and we talk about football Friday nights, there's always just been a purity with it, if that makes sense.
Oh, without a doubt.
You know, I mean, there's
like I grew up in this soil. This is where I'm going to play.
I mean,
I get it.
And there's just a purity about it that's getting chipped away when you talk about like what you just brought up.
Yeah.
Where kids are like, you know, not happy or whatever. And it is that part of, I think, a societal type deal where man up and, you know, become better. Like you said, look yourself in the mirror.
And the social media aspect is advanced this. Like, you know, back in the day, we didn't have social media. I mean, you were playing ball. Social media, kids, you know, whatever the new cool thing is, they're going to gravitate to that.
Right.
As programs, you almost got to identify your program and show, like, we got to be on top of social media through these things. Or, like you said, we wouldn't have had these kids wanting to stay at West Charlotte. I think we've done a good job of keeping our own. You're always going to have kids moving in and out of the, especially the west side areas. You know, I get it. I was at Harding. You know, every year we'd have 3 or 4 guys that would come in. They moved in there. Good, bad, indifferent. It happens. I get it. That's the nature of the beast. But it has trickled down from the college. You hear transfer portal. And the thing that drives me insane, though, this is the one thing it blows my mind. Say I got a brother. Me and you were playing on the same team.
Right.
And you're not happy. You know, last year we got beat in the second round basketball-wise.
Right.
Okay? Instead of like, all right, let's get back to the drawing board. Let's get better for next year. You're already looking elsewhere, that AAU type feeling type deal. Now I'm looking to go somewhere else. I'm going to find a way. It's not about how I can get better. How can I move to get somewhere else?
Right.
Then we have these same kids. Like, I'm still at this school. And then they'll post something, taking my talents to such and such, whatever. And we got kids that are like, we're friends with him at that school, and they're like, hey, go do your thing. I'm like, no, that's like a family member leaving you. Like,
right.
Why aren't we promoting that in a way? That's the one thing that bothers me. I'm like, if he goes, all right, bye. You against us now.
Right.
You know.
Yeah, social media.
It's so different.
And I do get it. Where, like you said, I've seen it where kids are like, I'm taking my talents to this high school. I'm like, wait.
They word it a little weird.
Right, I know. Thank God above, I'm taking my and I got it. Let's wrap it up with this. We talk about we're looking at the opening 3 days now. We got the Charlotte kickoff. We got our game of the week, which is going to be Providence Audrey Kell, and then you got the Turf King Classic and stuff. To me, every year the talent in Charlotte gets it's off the charts.
It's unbelievable.
I mean, and the amount of Division I coaches who are coming here. So, and maybe it's always been a hotbed. Maybe you can explain that to me a little bit more, but it just seems over the last few years, and I've been here 20 years, 23 years, sorry, it just seems like it's continued to amp up a little bit.
Yeah, so you always had the big hot spots. You had Miami, Texas, California, Georgia. Those are the areas where we're at. Charlotte is right up into that fold. We're probably in the top 5, definitely in the top 7 cities to come recruit from. It's not just because the talent, it's when they get to college, they're producing.
Right.
Think about it. Drake May will be up for Player of the Year. He'll be up for a Heisman this year. The guy that was at Wake Forest going to Notre Dame, he played in the Charlotte area.
Right.
Sam Hartman.
Yep.
Okay. You got the kid that came out of Weddington that's been starting from day one at Clemson, one of the first players ever in history to be all conference, not just at one position, but at 2.
Will Shipley?
Yes, Will Shipley. Love the kid. Dog.
He was on the podcast.
Yes. I'm just saying, that's what you're getting. You're getting a product from here. People are seeing it. They're playing right away. So it's that iron sharpen ironing feel. Charlotte is that. And the surrounding parts of Charlotte. Cleveland County.
Right.
All this. It's a hotbed.
You can go to Watauga. It's all over the place.
It's all over the place. Right. And it's a beautiful thing to see. The only thing we're a little further behind is we're losing coaches. You lose coaches. Sometimes you'll get, the DJ McFadden's of the world and these guys, Aaron Brand, they'll do a great job, and all of a sudden someone's paying them $40,000 more, and you lose that quality of a coach. We don't need to see that turnover. We need to be able to see, like a Coach Hales has been in the program for a long time, staying there. We need to see these coaches be able to sustain and retire.
Right. Build a program.
Then that team is a wing T team. That team is a spread team. It'd be really good to see, all right, we know what type of identity this team is. Instead of every year, it changes.
Because you know what you're getting at Butler every year.
Yes, you know what you're getting.
So, So let me ask you this real quick. Actually, I have one other question. The one thing I know that's been kind of frustrating I saw last year, and you can talk about it as a head coach, is, and it's something I've really seen, last year big time, was going to games and stuff, the shortage of officials. Mm-hmm. How do we encourage people to you know what I'm getting at? How tough is it as you as a coach?
Yes.
Because I officiated for 10 years.
I'm a big advocate of this.
I officiated for 10 years.
Yeah.
And, to me, and I'll be honest, because that's why you have officials who want to go out there and help grow the game. Mm-hmm. You got the officials out there who think they are the game.
Yes.
If that makes sense.
Oh, I get it.
And stuff like that. How do we help the organizations here that get officials in and stuff?
It's extremely simple. You make it more competitive. How? Paying them more.
Right.
If you pay officials a lot more, why is these areas, we don't have the funds? We can find funds, because now what you do is you make it where, if you're paying an official $250 a game instead of what they're making now, it becomes extremely competitive. Then guess what? You're going to get better officiating, and you're going to have more officials. It helps both things. Why? We can't come up with just a little bit more funds to help out.
Right.
I say that about a lot of things in life. If you pay people more, it becomes more competitive. You get better teachers.
Value them.
That's it.
Right.
It's that simple. I think they do a great job.
Because I've seen games last year
Yes.
where I was sitting there, I was shooting the games from the sidelines or whatever. I'm going, what was that called? Because it just.
Oh, I get it.
And then, as coaches, keeping that level head, understanding, hey, this is where we're at.
No doubt. And we're going to get to the point where social media is so advanced and the cameras are so advanced. We're eventually going to get to the point where you're going to have challenges.
Right.
In high school. It's
Right.
not there yet, but it will eventually get there. But, like I said, pay them a little more.
Right.
And guess what? Now, all of a sudden, you got, now who's fighting for these games? Now you're getting graded, and nope, now you're not getting to be a part of the playoffs. You're not getting to be a part of this. Pay them more and have incentives. If you grade it out, you get this bonus at the end of the year. There's ways to do it and be great at it.
Coach Greiner.
Good, man.
Thanks for your time.
Enjoyed it. Yeah, God bless you, brother.
Thanks for everything.
Appreciate
Good luck
you.
at the Turf King Classic, going up against Palisade.
I don't believe in luck. I hate to tell you that.
Oh.
Like Godspeed, luck. I don't believe in it, man.
We create our luck.
That's not what Godspeed. We were made to be great. Go be great.
Go be great.
I don't need nothing to be like, oh, it just happened.
Yep.
My man. Appreciate you.
Best of luck this season. Best of luck. Make sure you check out West Charlotte, the team they're going to have this year. Thank you for joining us on the 704 High School Highlight Podcast. Make sure you follow us however you listen or watch your podcast. Make sure you like, comment, follow us. And until next time, have a great week.